There is a window of about 8 hours every night when your body is doing something you have almost no control over. You are asleep. You are not eating. You are not moving. And yet, somewhere around 3 o'clock in the morning, your blood sugar quietly starts to climb. By the time your alarm goes off, that number on the meter is higher than it was when you went to bed. You did nothing wrong. You ate a careful dinner, you skipped dessert. And still, the morning reading is creeping up week after week. If you are over 60, this pattern is not a coincidence, and it is not your fault. It is your liver doing exactly what it was designed to do, just at the wrong moment in your life. And here is the part almost nobody talks about. There is a small group of foods, 5 of them really, that you can eat in the hour before bed that will quietly change what your liver does between midnight and sunrise. No medication, no special diet, no expensive supplements. Just 5 ordinary things you can pick up at any grocery store this week. Before we dig in, if this kind of plain language health explanation is what you have been looking for, please take a second to hit that subscribe button and like this video. It really does help the channel grow. Now, let me walk you through what is actually happening inside your body while you sleep, because once you see it, the 5 snacks will make a lot more sense. When the sun goes down and your eyes start getting heavy, your body shifts into what doctors sometimes call the overnight fast. You stop eating, but your organs do not stop working. Your heart keeps beating, your lungs keep breathing, your brain keeps cycling through dreams, and all of that takes fuel. That fuel is glucose. The same sugar that gives you energy during the day is the same sugar your body needs while you are completely still under the blanket. So where does it come from if you are not eating? It comes from your liver. Your liver is kind of like a private warehouse sitting just under your right rib cage. All day long, it has been quietly stockpiling glucose in a packed-away form called glycogen. And during the night, between roughly 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., it slowly opens that warehouse and trickles glucose back into your bloodstream so your brain and heart never run dry. In a younger body, this process is smooth and almost invisible. The liver releases just enough, not a drop more. But after 60, things start to shift. Your liver does not always release just enough anymore. Sometimes it releases too much. Sometimes it releases it too fast. And here is where it gets really interesting, because your pancreas, the small organ that normally sends out insulin to clean up extra sugar, is also getting older and slower. So when the liver dumps a bigger load of glucose into your blood at 4 a.m., the pancreas does not respond quickly enough. The sugar just sits there. It builds up. And by the time you wake up, that fasting number is 130, 140, sometimes even higher, even though you did absolutely nothing during the night except sleep. This pattern has a name in medical textbooks. It is called the dawn phenomenon. Your body, between about 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning, releases a quiet wave of hormones like cortisol and growth hormone. These hormones are not bad. They are doing their job. They are basically tapping your liver on the shoulder and saying, hey, get ready, the day is starting, send out some fuel. The problem is that after 60, this wake-up call is louder than the body actually needs, and the cleanup crew, your insulin, has slowed down. You end up with too much sugar floating around at sunrise. There is a second pattern too, and this one catches people completely off guard. It is called the Somogyi effect, named after the doctor who first described it. Here is how it works. Sometimes in the middle of the night, your blood sugar actually drops too low. You do not notice because you are sound asleep, but your body notices. Your body panics. It thinks you are starving. So it does an emergency dump from the liver, far more glucose than is needed, just to be safe. And again, you wake up with a high reading, same outcome, different cause. So if you are over 60 and your morning numbers have been confusing you for months, this is almost certainly what is going on under the hood. And the good news, the really good news, is that what you eat in that last hour before bed has a real, measurable effect on which way your liver swings overnight. That is where the right bedtime snack comes in. Not a big meal, not a dessert, just a small strategic bite that tells your liver, you can relax tonight, I have got you covered. Let me share a quick story from clinical practice, because I think a lot of you will recognize yourselves in it. There is a man named Robert, around 67, retired teacher, doing pretty well overall. He was watching his diet, he was walking 30 minutes most days. But every single morning, his fasting glucose was reading somewhere between 135 and 150. He was genuinely frustrated. He told his doctor, "I am doing everything right during the day. Why is the number always high in the morning?" His doctor asked him one simple question: "What do you eat in the 2 hours before bed?" Robert thought about it. "Nothing," he said. "I stop eating after dinner at 7, and I go to bed around 11. That 4-hour gap, his doctor explained, was the problem. By the time Robert was falling asleep, his blood sugar was already starting to dip. His liver was waking up to compensate. And by 5 a.m., it had overcorrected. Once Robert added one small bedtime snack from the list I am about to share with you, his morning numbers dropped into the low 100s within about 3 weeks. Nothing else changed. If any of this is sounding like something you have been quietly dealing with, give this video a like. It honestly helps other people who are going through the exact same morning frustration find this information. Okay, so let us actually get into the 5 snacks. I want to explain why each one works, not just hand you a list, because once you understand the why, you can start making smart choices on your own. The first one is a small handful of almonds, about 20 to 23 almonds, which is roughly 1 ounce. Not a bowl, not a bag from Costco, just a small handful, the kind you could fit in the palm of your hand. The reason almonds belong at the top of this list comes down to 3 things working together. First, they are full of magnesium. And magnesium is what doctors quietly call the forgotten mineral when it comes to blood sugar. It helps your cells respond properly to insulin, so when your pancreas does send out a signal at 4 a.m., the cells actually listen. After 60, magnesium levels in the body tend to drop, and that is one of the reasons insulin starts getting ignored. A small handful of almonds gives you, roughly 20% of what an older adult needs in a day. Second, almonds are packed with healthy fats and protein, which together slow down digestion. That means whatever else you had for dinner trickles into your bloodstream more slowly through the night, instead of all at once. And third, there is research from peer-reviewed nutrition journals showing that people who eat almonds regularly tend to have lower fasting glucose, lower insulin resistance, and steadier overnight numbers compared to people who do not. The trick with almonds is to keep the portions small. They are calorie-dense. 20 almonds, not 200. The second snack is, and a lot of you are going to be surprised by this, a hard-boiled egg. Just 1, maybe 2 if you are still a little hungry. I know eggs at night sounds strange. Most of us think of eggs as a breakfast food, but there is a reason this one shows up over and over in the research. There was a study, and I am not going to throw a bunch of citations at you, but it has been replicated, where people with type 2 diabetes ate 2 hard-boiled eggs as a bedtime snack for a few weeks. Their fasting morning glucose dropped, and their insulin sensitivity actually improved. Why? Because eggs are basically pure protein with a little fat, almost 0 carbs. When you eat one before bed, you give your liver something to slowly nibble on through the night. Your liver does not have to throw a panic switch and dump glucose at 4 a.m. because it knows fuel is already trickling in. And here is something a lot of people over 60 do not realize. Your protein needs go up as you age, not down. Most older adults are quietly under-eating protein, which makes muscle loss faster, makes blood sugar harder to control, and makes recovery from anything, even a small cold, slower. A boiled egg before bed is one of the cheapest, easiest ways to nudge your protein intake in the right direction. Hard-boil 6 of them on a Sunday, keep them in the fridge, and you have your bedtime snack ready for the whole week. Now, before I get to number 3, I want to pause on something important. The reason these snacks work is that they all do roughly the same job. They keep your liver calm. They give it a small, slow, steady source of fuel so it does not panic release glucose in the middle of the night. The food itself is not magic. It is the message it sends. Protein and fat say everything is fine, no need to dump sugar. Sugary or starchy snacks before bed do the opposite. They spike your insulin, then leave you crashing at 2 a.m., which then triggers that emergency liver dump we talked about earlier. So please, even if you love them, this is not the time for crackers, cookies, fruit juice, or a slice of toast with jam. Those are the things that cause the morning number to go up, not down. The third snack on the list is plain Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of cinnamon. Not the kind with fruit on the bottom, not the kind that says vanilla, honey, or any of those flavors that basically turn yogurt into dessert. Plain, unsweetened, full-fat, or 2% Greek yogurt, about half a cup. Greek yogurt is special because it contains roughly twice the protein of regular yogurt, with about half the carbs. That protein is mostly something called casein, which is a slow-digesting protein. Slow digesting is exactly what you want before bed. It releases amino acids into your blood gradually for 6 to 8 hours, which is basically the entire length of your sleep. Your liver gets a steady drip of nutrients instead of a feast and famine cycle. Then the cinnamon. Cinnamon is not just for flavor here. Real studies have shown that even half a teaspoon a day can improve insulin sensitivity in older adults. It seems to help your cells respond to insulin a little more efficiently. So a half cup of plain Greek yogurt with a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon sprinkled on top is one of the best metabolic combinations you can give yourself before bed. It tastes good, it is filling, and it costs maybe $1. A quick clinical story here because this one really stuck with me. There was a patient, a woman named Margaret, around 71. Her A1C had been creeping up for 2 years, and her doctor was getting close to putting her on a second medication. She did not want that. She asked if there was anything else she could try first. The doctor suggested swapping her usual evening dessert, which was a small bowl of vanilla ice cream, for half a cup of plain Greek yogurt with cinnamon. That was it. One swap. 3 months later, her A1C dropped by 0.6%. Her fasting morning glucose dropped by almost 20 points. She avoided the second medication entirely. Now, was the yogurt the only reason? Probably not. The act of swapping ice cream for yogurt also cut a bunch of sugar out of her day. But the timing, doing it right before bed, was a big part of why it worked so quickly. The fourth snack is chia seed pudding, and this one has gotten a lot of attention in the last few years for good reason. Chia seeds are tiny, but pound for pound, they are one of the highest fiber foods on the planet. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds contain about 10 grams of fiber. To put that in context, the average American adult only eats about 15 grams of fiber in a whole day. So 2 tablespoons of chia seeds at night gets you most of the way to where you should already be. Now, why does fiber matter for overnight blood sugar? Because fiber is what slows everything down. When you mix chia seeds with a little unsweetened almond milk or even plain water, they swell up into a gel. That gel sits in your stomach and slowly releases nutrients. It also feeds the good bacteria in your gut, which in older adults plays a bigger role in blood sugar control than most people realize. There is solid research showing that a healthier gut microbiome is linked to lower fasting glucose and better insulin sensitivity. The recipe is dead simple. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, half a cup of unsweetened almond milk, a pinch of cinnamon, maybe a few drops of vanilla extract if you want. Stir it, let it sit in the fridge for 20 minutes, and you have a thick, pudding-like snack that keeps your liver quiet all night long. Do not add honey, do not add maple syrup, do not add agave. The whole point is to keep the carbs low and the fiber high. I want to mention something about age that ties all of this together. After 60, your muscle mass starts to decline naturally if you are not actively working to keep it. Doctors call this sarcopenia. And muscle, as we have talked about in other videos, is the single biggest place where your body stores and burns glucose. Less muscle means less of a buffer overnight. So when your liver releases glucose at 4 a.m., there is less muscle there to soak it up. That is part of why morning numbers get worse with age, even in people who are doing everything else right. The bedtime snacks on this list are not just about feeding your liver. They are also about giving your muscles steady protein through the night so they can hold on to whatever mass you still have and even rebuild a little while you sleep. If you are over 60, please drop your age in the comments below. It really helps me understand who is watching and what topics matter most to this community. The fifth and last snack is a small piece of avocado, about 1/4 of one, with a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds on top. This one is honestly one of my favorites, and I think it is the most overlooked of the five. Avocado is almost pure healthy fat and fiber, with very few carbs. Pumpkin seeds, on the other hand, are loaded with magnesium and zinc, two minerals that get depleted as we age and that play a huge role in how your body handles glucose overnight. Together, they are a metabolic powerhouse. The fat in the avocado slows everything down, gives you a feeling of fullness so you do not wake up hungry at 3 a.m., and provides steady fuel for your liver. The pumpkin seeds provide minerals your body has been quietly running low on for years. Studies, real peer-reviewed studies, have shown that people who eat the most magnesium-rich foods have up to a 15% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Pumpkin seeds are one of the densest natural sources of magnesium you can find. A quarter avocado with about 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds, maybe a tiny pinch of sea salt, takes 30 seconds to make and gives your body almost everything it needs to glide through the night without a glucose spike. Now, before we wrap up, I want to share a few things about how to actually use this information, because just knowing the snacks is not enough. The timing matters, the portion matters, and the way you build the habit matters even more. First, timing. The sweet spot for a bedtime snack is roughly 60 to 90 minutes before you actually fall asleep. Not 5 minutes before, not 3 hours before. Eating right before you lie down can mess with your digestion, give you reflux, and actually interfere with deep sleep, which itself affects your blood sugar in the morning. Aim for about an hour. So if you go to bed at 10:30, your snack happens around 9 or 9:30. Second, portion. This is huge. These snacks are designed to be small. They are not a fourth meal. The whole point is to give your liver a small, steady signal, not to load up. A handful of almonds, not a bag. 1 egg, not 3. Half a cup of yogurt, not the whole tub. Quarter of an avocado, not the whole thing. If you overeat any of these, even though they are healthy, you will push too much energy into your system right before bed and possibly cause the same problem you are trying to solve. Third, consistency. This was the biggest thing in that earlier story about Robert. He did not see results in one night. It took about 3 weeks. Your liver has been operating on autopilot for decades. It takes some time for it to learn a new pattern. Eat the bedtime snack every night for at least 2 to 3 weeks before you decide whether it is working for you. Check your fasting blood sugar in the morning, write it down, and track the trend, not any single number. Fourth, and this is where a lot of people get tripped up, do not combine these snacks with sweet drinks. No fruit juice, no sweetened tea, no glass of milk with chocolate syrup on the side, just water if you are thirsty. The whole purpose of the snack is to send a calm, steady signal to your body. A sugary drink wipes that out instantly. And fifth, please, and I mean this, talk to your doctor before making big changes if you are on any blood sugar medication. Things like metformin, insulin, glipizide, anything in that family can have their effects changed by what you eat at night. The last thing you want is to drop your blood sugar too low while you are asleep. If you are on medication, bring this video, or even just the list of snacks, to your next appointment and ask if it would be a smart fit for your situation. Your doctor knows your full picture in a way no YouTube channel ever could. There is one more pattern worth understanding before we close out. A lot of people over 60 fall into what I call the empty night trap. They finish dinner at 6. They go to bed at 11. That is 5 hours of nothing. And during those 5 hours, their blood sugar slowly drifts down, their liver gets nervous, and by 3 a.m., it is making decisions on its own. The bedtime snack is not really about adding food. It is about plugging that gap. It is about telling your liver, you can stand down tonight. I have got fuel coming in slowly. You do not need to dump anything. That, more than anything else, is why these 5 snacks work. Let me quickly summarize the 5 again, because I know some of you are going to come back to this video later and just want the list. Number 1, a small handful of almonds, about 20 to 23. Magnesium, healthy fat, protein. Number 2, 1 hard-boiled egg. Pure protein, almost no carbs, incredibly cheap. Number 3, half a cup of plain Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of cinnamon. Slow-digesting casein protein, plus a real insulin sensitivity boost from the spice. Number 4, chia seed pudding made with 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and unsweetened almond milk. fiber that slows everything down and feeds your gut. And number 5, a quarter of an avocado with a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds. Healthy fat and a big dose of the minerals your body has been quietly missing for years. You can rotate them. You do not have to eat the same one every night. In fact, mixing them up keeps things interesting and gives your body a wider range of nutrients. Some nights I would suggest the egg, some nights the yogurt, some nights the chia pudding. They all do the same job in slightly different ways. In the short term, if you start doing this tonight, you will probably notice your morning glucose readings dropping within 7 to 10 days. You may also notice that you sleep a little deeper. That is not a coincidence. Stable blood sugar through the night is one of the quiet keys to good sleep. And a lot of older adults who struggle with waking up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning are actually waking up because of a small blood sugar dip. Fixing the dip often fixes the sleep too. In the long term, you are doing something even more valuable. You are taking pressure off your pancreas, you are protecting your liver from years of overcorrecting, and you are giving your muscles a steady drip of protein that helps slow down sarcopenia. Year after year, those small benefits compound into something really significant. The difference between staying metabolically sharp into your 70s and 80s and slowly slipping into prediabetes and diabetes often comes down to little habits exactly like this one. So here is what I would suggest doing tonight. Pick one of the 5. Just one, whichever one sounds easiest to you. Maybe you already have a carton of eggs in the fridge. Great. Hard-boil a couple right now. Maybe you have some Greek yogurt sitting there. Perfect. Sprinkle some cinnamon on it and eat half a cup about an hour before bed. Do not try to do all 5 at once. Do not try to overhaul your whole evening routine. Just one snack, one night, and see how you feel in the morning. And if you are someone who wakes up with a high reading and you have been wondering for months or years why this keeps happening, despite everything you do during the day, I really hope this video gave you some clarity. The morning number is not random. It is not bad luck. It is not just aging. It is a specific biological pattern with specific causes and, as you now know, specific things you can do about it. If this video helped you make sense of something that has been bothering you, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. It honestly takes 2 seconds and it helps this kind of clear, no-nonsense health information reach more people who need it. That is what keeps this channel growing. And the goal is to make these videos available to as many older adults as possible who are trying to take care of themselves without all the noise. Drop a comment below and let me know which of the 5 snacks you are going to try first. I read every single one, and it helps me decide what topics to cover next. Thank you for spending this time with me tonight, and I will see you in the next one.